Jason and I are going to sit down. We're going to start right on time. Is it good? All right, did she took your phone? It's live now?
Yeah. I'm going to do it.
How was you using the volume on there too? We just all right.
Two viewers. Hey everyone, I'm Jeannie Gaines, the Association of County Commissions, and we are here at the Dale, Henry, and Houston County Joint Community Meeting. Tune in, ask questions, be sure to like and share this video so we can get it passed around to all of our members. Come in with those questions and we're going to be here to answer those for you.
You ain't gonna have this. How wide did you go? I didn't speak this time. Now you keep doing what you do. Coleman, you made it, huh? I'm here. What you know? How you doing? Good. Good. Doing well. Put all that up. You got 2 minutes.
How you been? I only need a minute.
There you go.
I talk fast. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go all the
Hey, look at him. What you doing hanging out? Uh-oh. You're going to have to move, Jeff. You're blocking the Facebook Live camera.
Oh, I'm just going to ask Facebook Live. I got to go back. I do not want to block that. That's a process.
Get everyone to please kind of find a seat, preferably down front if you can, or near the front, and on this side of the auditorium in case you have something you'd like to say. Just come on down, and we need to honor your time and get started on time.
She's going to be shooting Facebook Live right there, so I don't know if she's...
Show that it's 6 o'clock and we want to try to get started on time. As I said, honor your time. My name is David Money. I serve Henry County as its probate judge and chairman of the county commission. We're very grateful that you're here tonight. We thank you for being here. This is a tri-county meeting. I appreciate Chairman Blankenship and Chairman Culver for helping get this organized. We welcome our friends not only from Henry County but from Dale and Houston County as well as others who may be from other counties. I do know that we have staff members from ACCA, which is Association of County Commissioners of Alabama here. We want to welcome them. We have some public officials here, so folks who serve us from different parts of the Wiregrass area. We thank you for being here. Some of the news media is here, and we also appreciate you coming. A very special thank you to Headland High School Principal Jason Bradford and Henry County Superintendent of Education Chris Padgett for making this facility available to us tonight. The purpose of this meeting tonight is basically threefold. Number one, we want to briefly establish or reestablish the need for improvements to our county roads and city streets. Secondly, we want to discuss a proposal or a plan to provide funding for those improvements in a way that's both fair and affordable. And third, we want to give you, the citizens, the public, an opportunity to come to the mic down front and express your opinion or your comments, or certainly ask a question, and hopefully we'll be able to answer that question tonight. If not, if you make sure you leave a name and a contact number, we will definitely get back with you. The format of the meeting is very simple. sort of three little sessions. First of all, we'll hear very briefly, and that's one of the key words here, is very briefly, comments from each of the three chairmen here tonight, as well as one county engineer. The second thing is we do have some public officials, some mayors, some chambers of commerce folks like that. If you're here and you would like to make a comment about this, when we call on you, if you will, I'm not going to call on anybody. You just come forward, take just 90 seconds. We just need to really keep this brief. Express a brief opinion about how you feel on it. Obviously, give your name and your position. And once we've done that, then we'll have a third segment, which will give the citizens an opportunity to come to the floor mic down here and ask questions, give comments, pro or con. We obviously want civil discourse tonight and try to learn what we can about this issue. The only thing that I'm sure we all are in agreement on is we have bad roads everywhere. But this is just a plan to try to get something going on that. So let's get started. Let me take just 3 minutes to talk about Henry County. We have about 520 miles of paved roads. About a third of those roads are considered federal routes, and I know a lot of you have questions about that, and I hope we answer that before the night's over. Those roads are in pretty good shape. Those are the roads that we do get some federal funds on. Another third of those roads are in fair condition. But a real concern to us are the 156 miles that require immediate attention, or we risk the chance of losing them. The A-TRIP program a few years ago was really good for Henry County, but we could only spend money on the federal routes. The beauty of this proposal that we're talking tonight, and it's called A-TRIP 2, is that we get to put the money where it's needed the most. A-TRIP 2 involves a $1.2 billion bond issue that will be funded by a 3 cents tax increase on gasoline and fuel. The proceeds, as this legislation sits right now, all the proceeds would be divided among counties and cities, counties and municipalities. Under the current gas tax distribution formula, Henry County would receive about $10.4 million. Of that amount, 80% would be used on county roads, with the other 20% going to municipalities. The exact dollar figures can be found on a Henry County handout we brought. There's some on the back table. I have a few up here. Feel free to quietly go and get one if you'd like, because I think you'll see some things on there that would interest you. In my job as commission chairman and probate judge, the majority of the calls I get are in three basic areas: roads, jobs, and mental health issues. Of those phone calls, far and away, most of those calls are to do with county roads, and those folks are spot on. There's a very huge problem. We cannot put this off any longer. Something has to be done. Now, I understand this. Some choose to take the easy way out and say, no new taxes, especially legislators in North Alabama. To those, my question would be, if not this, then what? We're at a crossroads. A third of the roads in Henry County have reached the critical stage, and at $135,000 a mile, it won't be easy. But if nothing is done, just picture where we'll be in 5 years, or 10 years, or 20 years. I close by sharing a conversation I had with a Henry County citizen just a couple of weeks ago. In fact, it was the Dothan Eagle had a front page article about this meeting tonight, and I was going to the courthouse the next morning, and I went into a retail store near the courthouse, and a young clerk was there, and she said, "Judge Money, tell me about the meeting that's coming up." And I told her basically what it would be about, and she said, she didn't tell me what she made, but I know she makes $9, $10 an hour. She said, we really need the bad roads, but I cannot afford to pay anything else. And I said, I understand that. She said, how would it affect me? And I said, well, tell me this. What are your driving habits? How often do you get gas? She said, it's pretty simple. I fill up every other week, and I put about 15 gallons in my car each time. And I said, so you use about 30 gallons a month on the average? She said, yes. I said, well, it costs you 90 cents a month, less than a salt drink. She said, 90 cents? I said, yes. And her words were, we cannot afford not to do this. If you will, If you get that thing in Henry County, Dale County has something out there too, and all three counties have these figures available. We can get them to you. Find your personal situation on there. Think about the miles you drive. What will a trip to cost you a month? $2, $2.50, $3. Compare that to the cost of a front end alignment, or a new tire, or worse, an accident caused by substandard roads. Just think about that. Now we'll hear from Dale County Commission Chairman Mark Blankenship.
Thank you, David. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to y'all tonight, and mine's very brief. Derek's going to cover most of our numbers, and I apologize for my voice. I've about lost my voice today. This will probably be the single most important legislation that I deal with as Commission Chairman, no matter how long I stay Commission Chairman. When this first got started, there was basically two requirements involved for us to move forward with this, and that was getting community support, which is what we're trying to do tonight, and also getting the paving on the ground as soon as we could once it was passed. And that's what these maps are about. Each one of these engineering groups are working on trying to get that in order. Another issue was we want this to be as transparent as possible. We want you to know every figure that we know. We want to put everything out on the table. And I asked each one of you, as you're looking and thinking about this, to put yourself in our shoes, where we're getting the phone calls every day, and we're being charged as elected officials to keep these roads safe and maintained, and we simply have to tell the people that you know, we just don't have the money to do it, and that's the truth. That's where we are. One thing that everybody needs to remember: this can only be spent on roads and bridges. No salaries, trucks, buildings, or anything like that. It'll all go into roads and bridges. The Dale County Commission has already passed a resolution in support of this. I couldn't be more proud of the commissioners I have in Dale County, because we had basically no discussion when I brought this up. And the reason for that is they're well educated. They know what the road conditions are in Dale County, and they know we've got to have something. We went one step further, and we put together a city resolution that's similar to the county one. And we've asked 10 cities and towns to adopt this resolution. And based on what I'm being told, I look for every one of them to approve it and return it to us. And that just sends a strong signal. We plan to get that out to our legislative folks and show them, you know, how important it is to everybody. This also has a sunset law in it, which means once the bond is paid off, the tax goes away. And I won't be here to make sure that happens, but somebody will. So at this time, I want to turn it over to Dale County Engineer Derek Brewer. He's going to be representing the three engineers, and he has a little slideshow for us. Thank y'all.
Thank you. My name is Derek Brewer, and I'm the county engineer for Dale County. What I'd like to go through is our current situation with funding. I like to cite my sources. This was given in a presentation to us from Senator Gerald Dial a couple of years ago, and I think it was prepared by the chief engineer, Don Arkell, with AlDOT. I'd like to go through this just to show y'all the situation that we're in now as far as funding. Federal and state revenue has been flat since 2005, not including the one-time stimulus funding in 2009 and 10. And we know what a big boon that was. I think the county's got like $150,000, and everybody here knows that didn't go very far in asphalt. And anyway, that was a stimulus plan. Another thing is the purchasing power has diminished due to inflation since that time. As you can see from this chart here, that's 18 cents a gallon is what you pay gasoline tax. 18 cents. And look, in 1991, that was when the 18 cents was put on there. The last 5 cents of the 18 cents was right after that. And as you see, over time, 2015, what has happened to that 18 cents? Well, 2 cents of it has gone to the fuel economy. Well, fuel economy, cars get better mileage, they use less gas, we get less revenue. 6.5 cents has gone to inflation. Over time, we've had inflation. And the big one, 9.5, almost half of the gas tax is eaten up in the purchasing power. The purchasing power that we have now, as I give the example of plant mix, which is what the layman's called blacktop, that was about $45 a ton when I started, and now it's about $90 a ton. So that's purchasing power gone down. And I mentioned that the fuel economy was going up. Well, if you look in this paper article here, it says this is CAFE standards now put on by the feds that they're demanding that these truck and car producers double their miles per gallon by 2025 to average 54.5 miles per gallon. That's great. Everybody wants better gas mileage. It's just showing you that over time our revenue source is diminishing. We'll go to the next one. This is a real world example right here. This is what hits home right here. The 1994 Honda Accord was the #2 seller in the nation. Got 21 miles per gallon city, 27 highway. All right, 2013. 19 years later, by my quick calculations, the Honda Accord is the #4 top seller, 27 miles per gallon city, 36 miles per gallon highway. All right, there's your future one. The CAFE standards are demanding that we get 54.5 miles per gallon. Honda Accord, question mark. What, what's that leave, where does that leave us? You can go to the extreme with a Chevy Volt or a Tesla. Where's your funding coming from on those vehicles? Next. All right, this is real world examples here now. If you drove 12,000 miles, half city, half highway, in 1994, you consumed 508 gallons of gas, and you paid $185 in gas tax. All right, skip forward to 2013. If you drove 12,000 miles, half city, half highway, you consumed 389 gallons of gas, you paid $142 in gas tax. All right, let's skip ahead to the future. If you drove 12,000 miles in 2025, half city, half highway, you consumed 220 gallons of gas, and you paid $80 in gas tax. And that's, in my department that I'm charged with running, that is 99% of what we work off of is gasoline tax. Here's some more stats for you. The travel in Alabama, as you can see, prior to 98, travel increased at a rate of 3.1% per year. From 98 to 07, travel increased by 1.2%. That's where the graph levels off right there. And in 2008, you see a little decline there. Does anybody have any idea what happened in 2008 when we had that decline in vehicle miles traveled? Gas got up to about $4 a gallon. People quit driving, quit their Sunday driving, quit their recreational driving, some of their boating and RVing and all the fun stuff got cut out. Since 2011, traffic has remained flat. From 93 to 2013, the total increase in travel was 37.4%. All right, fuel consumption. From 1993 to 2007, fuel increased by 1.3% per year, followed by a decline in 2008. That's the same 2008 drop that we talked about. From 93 to 2013, fuel use increased by 18.7%. So fuel use increased by 18.7%. Over the last 20 years, travel increased by 37.4%, but fuel consumption increased by only 18.7%. Highway transportation funding, as you can see, I've already gone through those. This was done 2 years ago, and it says the feds are not coming to the rescue. Well, we have a new president now, and who knows what that's going to mean. We've heard talk of a $1 trillion infrastructure improvement, but this is what we were told 2 years ago. The feds are not coming to our rescue. We do get $533,000 a year for our federal routes. Every county in the state gets that. Some may get more. I don't know. That's about all we're doing as far as county roads in Dale County for capital improvement is our federal money on federal routes. And only 40% of our federal routes in Dale County, only 40% of our paved roads in Dale County are federal. So only those routes are eligible for federal money. All right, current 18 cents per gallon is 10 cents less than the national average. Well, I skipped something here. The last gas tax increase was in 1992. That's what we're operating off of. That was that last 5 cents boost we got was in 1992. If the state 18 cent per gallon tax were adjusted for inflation since 92, it would be increased by 12 cents to 30 cents per gallon. The gas tax to be 30 cents per gallon. Currently, 18 cents per gallon is 10 cents less than the national average. In 92, the state gas tax was 16.5% the cost per gallon. Today, 18 cents is 9% of the cost per gallon. At $2 a gallon, which is perfect. Well, I said all that to say that this is our current situation. I mean, it's up to the people and the legislators of Alabama to decide what's going to be best. But everybody just think about those county roads that you ride. You ride to see your grandmother, you go to get your hair cut, you go the back way to the lake or wherever you go hunting. Just think about those roads and think about the situation they're in. And you just know from the people and talk to the people that are in charge of those budgets that, just talk to them and see what kind of money they have to apply to these roads. In Dale County, I know from our standpoint, really, on all system roads, the only money we have to fix anything is just to patch the roads. And what people got to decide is that acceptable? Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. We're pretty much on time. What we'd like to do now, I've noticed that we have some mayors here. We have some chambers of commerce officials. At this time, we want to give an opportunity before we have the public express their opinion. We'd like for anybody who's an official locally down here in any of the 3 counties, this would be your chance. Please come to the podium. Give us your name, your position. Hold it about that long, if you will, please. Okay. I'm not going to say it.
Thank you, Judge. My name is Mayor Ray Marley with the City of Hammond. Let me just give you some numbers here that we got a proposal on a while back. Now, this is not all the bad streets that we have in Helen, but these are some of the most traveled streets that we have in Helen. And kind of get this in your head, what it's going to cost to get these streets paved. And I'll tell you what kind of money that we are generating each year off our 7-cent gasoline fund tax. Cleveland Street's $121,000. Now, this is roads that's not going to be mill. This is an overlay. If you add in the Cleveland Street overlay, you look at another almost $12,000. Mitchell Street's $96,000. Church Street, as many of y'all travel up and down Church and live here in Helen, around Hardix, that's $97,000. If we do a milling on it, that's going to cost another $17,000. Holman Street, which we add a little bit of money as we did by saving, we're about to pay Holman, but it's about a quarter of a mile there, and that's $46,000. That's just overlay. It's not going to be any milling there. So that's about $360,000 there, give and take, that the city's got to spend. In 2016, the 7-cent gasoline fund tax, we collected $50,000. Tell me how you make it work. How you get $360,000 out of $50,000? Thank you very much.
Those in Henry County, you might notice on your sheet, if this thing passed, that 90 cents a month that lady was talking about, the city of Helen would stand to gain about $1.2 million, and that would go a long way in what we need. Other officials.
Thank you. My name's Billy Helms. I'm the mayor of Abbeville, and I just want to say that during my campaigning, one of the biggest problems that people wanted me to address was paving city streets, and naturally I told them I would do what I could, and when I get in there, I found out I can't. So I don't know what I'm going to tell them now. So we have managed to pave one street in Abbeville probably in the last 8 to 10 years, and we're lucky to do that. We have some money already on hand. we have very little now, and I don't see, if y'all been through Eddyville, you know we've got a lot of streets that should have been paved 15 years ago. And it's like David says, they're on their last leg. And I was looking on this proposal that we could get $700,000 and some thousand. So I really believe that would help Eddyville greatly and maybe entice some of y'all to come through there a little more often.
As the next one comes up, whomever that is, let me share this. I had somebody the other day that said, why don't you just fire every county commissioner you have and you'll have enough money. That would pave about 8/10 of 1 mile of road if you did that. So, who else? Another official? Yes, sir.
I'm Mayor Grant from Level Plains. We have about 11 miles of city streets, and they're in bad shape. We're putting patches on top of patches. So the very little money we're getting from the gasoline tax, won't even pay 1 mile of street at approximately $80,000 a mile. So this is something that's really needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. For those of you who think we set all this up just like this, we did not. I just said we're going to open a time. If there's an official here that wants to speak, I had no idea they were coming. Here's a gentleman who's got a long walk ahead of him, but if he's climbed all the mountains and ridden a bicycle across the country, I guess he can walk down that aisle.
That's it.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Mike Schmitz, mayor of the great city of Dothan, and we are a blessed city. We're not 70,000 people. We average over 180,000 people a day because of you. So I'm here to stand with you. The city of Dothan is so blessed. We don't really need this. But when we talk about economic development, you want to talk about jobs. We talk about roads. But we need to help our communities, whether it's Geneva, Henry County, or Dale County, create an opportunity to create more jobs. And you have to have good infrastructure. You have to have roads to do that. So if you want to create more jobs, we need to as elected officials, look at the difficult problems. And this is one. Nobody wants tax. Is this affordable? I think it's eatable, and we can do it. But I'll tell you, I think, the citizens of Alabama, we deserve more than being the 48th state in the country down here. We deserve more than being the 49th state in the country here. Our citizens deserve to be the best and have the best. And this is a difficult issue in our state, but it's one we have to address. I hope you'll consider it. Representative Dexter, thank you for being here. You know, Henry County, how bad you guys need it. It's about jobs. It's about quality of life. It's about, and I've been in the automobile business 30-some years. I'm going to tell you, fuel economy is getting better and better. I have franchises coming out with 10 hybrids this year. So your fuel economy is going to increase. We can absorb this. We can, I believe, as a community and as a state, we can pay this. And I'll tell you this, if you want to make a difference in people's lives, this is an issue we need to hopefully overcome and address. And I would ask you to seriously support this. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any official? A lot of people think that the gas tax is based on the price of a gallon of gasoline, that if it's $4, you get more gas tax than if it's $2 a gallon. And I want you to make sure you understand that's not true. It's the same no matter what the price of gasoline is. Anybody else at all? We're going to get out of here early, I think. Maybe not. Yes, come on.
Thank you, Mr. Money. I'm Doug Seekfield, Houston County Commissioner. It's time for a change, folks. I'm reminded of the old story, old man and his wife and young boy Went to town. When they got there, there was a new department store. They'd never been in a department store their whole life. They walked in, started walking around. Lady wandered off over there to the clothes department. Man and his son walking around looking, and they walked up to an elevator. Never seen an elevator their whole life. They stopped there and looking. Watch this lady walk up to the elevator, push a button, door open, walked in, she gone. Little boy, his daddy kept watching it. All of a sudden, this old lady walks up with a walking stick. She gets up to the elevator, pushes a button, walks in. A few minutes later, this beautiful, tall blonde comes out. When she does, little boy looks up at his daddy. The daddy looked down at his son. He said, "Son, go get your mom." Well, she was changed. But, you know, many of you I'm looking out here seeing, a lot of you my age and over. You remember Big Jim Folsom, Governor of Alabama. And what he did for the farm and market roads back in the 1950s in his second term in office. He was the second governor to win the election, I think, 2 times in the state. But anyway, he saw a need. And he was able to get through the legislature a $40 million bond. And he began, prior to that, Governor Sparks and the Alabama Department of Transportation, Mr. Gregory, they put their heads together and they came up with a 1-cent tax which helped a 50-50 match the counties began to pay. And they began to start road construction, farm to market roads, and then Governor Folsom took off with it. Folks, I was 10 years old in 1950-something. And that road that my daddy gave land to be paved has never been resurfaced. And that's the way a lot of our roads are in this state today. Something needs to be done, and I'm glad that we're beginning the process to talk about it and see that we can get some help in our state to upgrade our roads, bring the growth of infrastructure, and bring our state up where we'd like to see it. So thank you for letting me speak.
And I'll be real brief, but and this is nothing new here. We've been working. The state legislature's been looking at this idea for several years, and I see Sonny back there. He's been heading the charge also. And we're talking about locally here, but Senator Dow, Speaker McCutcheon, and so many other people have done so much research around the state of Alabama, and we've seen the condition of our roads in the state of Alabama. And what gathered my attention is some of the bridges that we cross every day. And we don't realize that, in my opinion, if you only knew, you wouldn't cross a lot of these bridges that you drive across every day. It's scary to me to see some of the stuff that has been around for 70, 80 years and we still utilize it as though it's brand new. And I've been in support of this legislation from the beginning. And all of the stuff, when you get into the integral parts of all of this, it gets very interesting because we don't realize how we got to where we are and what the situation is. I like what the Dale County engineer produced, but one of the main things that he talked about, and we don't realize it, that the amount of money that we're bringing in has also gone down because of the previous administration. Y'all remember that cars for clunkers or whatever that was, and got rid of all those old cars using all that gas. And all that stuff is piled up to create a situation as to where the amount of money coming in is also smaller. Not just inflation has made it worse, but we don't pull as much revenue in also, and that's going to be a big issue. But I'm here to support the community. I'm glad to be here and hear whatever you all have to say. It gives me confidence in knowing that we can support the local governments, and if you all isn't supported, why should I be against that? So I'm in support of it also. I'm glad to see all the mayors and county commissioners and county chairmen here to give us that support, to know that this is something much needed. But we just hope that we have an opportunity to put something and get something in place to fix some of these roads and situations in the state of Alabama. And as I take my seat, I like the overall, we like to talk about running a government-like business. I agree with that also. And one thing about a business is, if you own a business, your investment into your business often dictates what you get out of your business. And if Alabama wants to come up from, like the mayor said, from 49 to 50%, we have to get a mindset of investment. And I think with that investment, it'll help everyone grow and have an opportunity to do better in the state. Because economic development is one of the main issues that we need to fight. And no one wants to come to a state that they can't get their products where they need to go. And I think the state of Alabama is way behind that. We need to take the opportunity to get there. But I do support the mayors and the counties in this endeavor, and I hope we can get something accomplished that we can take care of these problems. Thank you.
Is this next gentleman, because let me just tell the Henry County people something really quick. I didn't know Matt was coming, but we're a poor county and we really don't have money set aside for a lot of economic development. Matt Parker is with the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce, and he has truly been a friend. The jobs that we've gained lately are largely responsible for the work that he's done to help us get that. So I want the Henry County folks to know that this gentleman has really helped you here.
Thank you, Judge. And, you know, when you look at the infrastructure issue, obviously our new administration knows that they have a marching order. Infrastructure in America is the #2 priority in this country with some other things. But, you know, looking at this issue, you know, at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Association, traffic and congestion have been a big issue, and our declining revenue source for infrastructure to keep pace and keep us a competitive nation has always been at the forefront. We've talked about it for the last decade. Appreciate the leadership that we have in this room here today, but you know, this is an economic development issue. Our area is blessed with a lot of natural resources. We've got pine trees, we've got great agriculture, we've got a prospering, growing poultry industry, and all those industries need good roads to get their resources to market, to the production plants and what have you. And so it's an economic development issue, and we compete against other states that definitely have a little bit more revenue in their road infrastructure. So to me, this is an economic development issue. If we can enhance our roads, make them safer, make them better, it puts us at a better standard for some of these projects that are competing, that are using these natural resources out here. So it's an important issue for us, and just appreciate the leadership that this group's showing by focusing on infrastructure. It is a big issue, but again, it's an economic development issue. So thank you.
Any other officials? Got just a couple of 3 more minutes for that. If you'd like to, just come on up. Let me say this while this young lady's coming up. Matt mentioned something about neighboring states. We lost our youngest daughter to a race car driver over in Georgia, and we go up there more often than I feel like we need to, but in Coweta County and Meriwether County, we go up there quite regularly, and I know the gas there is $2.12, and we're $1.95 to $2. I've yet to ride on a road that was anywhere near where our best roads are. They're all good. I know those folks pay for it, but you know, that's why they have the good roads. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Veronica Kroc. I'm the economic developer for Dale County, and I'm proud to say that I'm a colleague of many of the people that have talked tonight. I hate to say that I'm going to duplicate exactly what everyone else has already said, that our infrastructure is critically important to our economic development efforts. Not only is it important to bringing in new industries, but it's important to keeping the existing businesses that we have within our state. I can tell you, when in our recruitment efforts, the top 2 things that we often discuss is certainly the workforce and then roads, our infrastructure, how we can help these businesses do business. So when we're working within our communities, top 2 things that we often discuss are jobs and roads. So it is vitally important to our economic development efforts, and I really appreciate you giving us the ability to talk about this today. Thank you.
Not on schedule. We have time for maybe one more if there's anyone else. While that last person is deciding if they want to come on, let me mention this. We'll, after this next speaker, if someone comes, we'll move into the public stage. Here's what I really want you to listen to. I know a lot of people here tonight are here really concerned about their particular area, maybe the road that they live on, their county. But I'm asking, when this part of the next part of the program is over, you'll see 3 maps down here. The one on the far end is the Henry County map. The one in the center is Houston County. This is Dale County. I know that all 5 of the Henry County commissioners are here, and I've seen several commissioners from Dale and Houston County. When this is over, we will be down front near these maps. We'll explain the maps to you. They identify the roads that show a lot of need. Not saying that we can do all those roads, but if you have a specific question about your county, your road, I'm going to ask you real respectfully, don't bring it up here because maybe the folks in the other 2 counties really don't quite feel as strongly about it as you do. You will have plenty of time. We'll stay as long as you need after the meeting to talk about specific questions, roads. Anybody else, any officials? If not, yes, sir, come on.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Is anybody here from ALDOT?
Not that I'm aware of, no,
Not
sir.
you're aware of.
Yes, sir.
So have a meeting about paving road, got nobody from ALDOT.
And we didn't ask.
Have you looked around the congregation here and see who's here?
Yes, sir, that's what we wanted. We wanted
What
local
you got?
folks, so we could explain.
What do you have?
Yes, sir.
What do
Yeah,
you see? You see any young folks here? I don't see any young folks here.
And
Who
your
does
point,
most of the
your
driving?
point is?
Who does most of the driving around here?
Okay.
I mean,
Listen, I know you're from
about
Henry
purchasing-
County. Let's discuss that after
You
the
talk
meeting.
about purchasing power? What about our purchasing power? Has it gone down? I mean, what we get for Social Security raise this year? 0.3%?
Right.
0.03?
What we're about to do now is open up the floor mic. We would ask that you, if you have a comment, pro or con, a question especially about A Trip 2, how it works, how the money's divided, anything of that nature. And I'm calling on fellow commissioners and chairmen and other folks, because I certainly don't have the answers, but we will try to get those for you. So if this time, we'll have plenty of time. So whoever would like to come to the mic down here, if you need the mic brought to you, raise your hand and we will do that. Yes, sir. You like the mic?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chad. When you do this, again, general questions about what we're meeting for, specific questions will come later. I'd like you to state your name and where you're from, and then your question or comment, please.
Judge, I'm Tim Hornsby. I live in Headland. I'm ex-county engineer. I'm ex-ALDOT employee. I had 39 years and about 8 months before I got disabled and had to retire. Chris, what is your budget yearly?
Our budget will fluctuate anywhere from $2.3 to $3 million a year, depending on the amount of equipment that we turn around each year. But as far as operations, hovers between $2.2 to $2.4 million a year.
Your budget, I was county engineer in Henry County for 5 years. Our budget was just a little over $1 million all 5 years. It didn't vary $100,000 those 5 years. I had politicians that said we've done it this way for 30 years. We do it this way for 30 more years. Now, I haven't heard anything mentioned about any kind of standards. Have y'all got standards for this?
As far as the quality of the construction or repairs on the roads?
Yes.
The standards to be used will be based on the traffic count of each individual road. The legislation references the approved ALDOT low-volume road standards that will be used, will be applied to the construction on the projects should this bond issue come to fruition.
Okay. I started to work as assistant county engineer in Coffee County when I got out of high school, got out of college in March of 1978. So I worked in either the county or either the state for almost 4 years.
Mr. Hornsby, if you will, out of respect for everyone else's time and give them an opportunity, please give us your comment or question, please. If not, we'd be glad at the Henry County segment to spend the time that I just want to respect the time of other folks who are here too as well, please.
The quality of the materials, asphalt, liquid asphalt, has declined over those years. That is not us traveling public's problem. That is something that, do y'all have roads slide? Do y'all have problems with the roads deteriorating quicker? You got a 30-year bond issue on on this gas tax, and asphalt pavement will last approximately 10 years.
Thank you. Please come down after this and we'll get all those questions answered, I promise you. It's someone else.
Dave, you know me, I am a resident of Henry County. Yes, sir. I lived in Henry County and the surrounding counties most of my life. I work in Houston County, Alabama, and I want to say I appreciate the politicians coming down here tonight to sell this or trying to sell it, especially our engineer. I work with engineers on a daily basis, multiple. They drive off charging grass. That's what was put up here in front of us. Dexter, you and I talked about a road, we talked about asphalt. Didn't I call you about a month? Other people have called you about it. Road that's recently paved. You can't even drive on it now. 2 years ago. I don't know where we're at on that. You spoke of the asphalt deteriorating. It's no good.
If you take a look at that portion of 95, the LDOT is constantly working on it. You see they got flags.
The rest of it's popping out.
Yeah,
we spend a lot of money as taxpayers on that road.
Explain it to you.
You spoke of adjacent state that's got good roads. Sir, they did. You spoke of an adjacent state that's got good roads earlier. They did that when they had the car inspection. They got a lot of money off that. They don't longer have that. They went to a different fuel tax on theirs too.
Thank you.
But I know how they pay for those. I question this sunset law you got in it. I spoke to someone else that's involved in this too. I'm not sure about that. I haven't seen very many taxes come off. And I can tell you, David, out of Henry County, I pay in the top 10% of taxes. I can assure you of that.
We appreciate you.
And you know, the state, and it's not just a sump for change. This is a national issue. We know that. It was spoken here. We had a bridge collapse a few years ago. What about 2004, 2011, when we had $200 million taken out of road and bridge and appropriated somewhere else? You remember Amendment 3 didn't pass. We tried to run up. Then it brought up the 12-cent tax we tried to get. And I don't know if this is on top of that or not. Did you? Would this be on top of that? And it's probably going to come up this time too. It didn't pass. It didn't get brought to the floor because our current speaker up there didn't bring it to the floor. It has to originate in the House. He wouldn't bring it to the floor. Dow's in the Senate. And we heard Dow's name mentioned here, David. And we know, and I haven't looked, but I am going to research where the lobbyists are paying for Alabama Asphalt Association because they asked Bentley up there to support this. And he wouldn't. So they went to the commission who's been trying to do it since 2011. And I know we need bad roads here in Henry County. I've traveled. But we need to figure them out. It ain't just started overnight.
I see.
It ain't. So I do have, and I know you want to finish.
We need to
the
move on.
$59.6 million trust that the federal judge stopped. We need to get the BP money and appropriate it.
So let's keep our
But
comments to this
where
issue.
can the distribution formula be found you spoke of?
Someone answer that, please. Distribution, gas tax, distribution.
You spoke of it.
I know. I didn't develop it. I don't have it, but there's someone here that can tell you where to get it.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see the proposed legislation there. Also, so I can share it. There's a lot of people that I know It's very interesting, yes, couldn't make it tonight because it's working. Not that, they won't see it.
It's in the
And-
code, Judge.
Huh? Where's it at?
It's in the code of Alabama, 1975.
Well, it's new proposal legislation.
The new
The new proposal is talking about being proposed here.
I'll
Okay,
email
let's,
you.
that's
what I want to see.
Thank you, I understand. If you'll make sure that we'll get
I
back.
work with the county that pays 51% of your property taxes and your.
Okay.
But thank you, Dave.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Question, I'll find
Appreciate
out.
you for being here. Thank you. Someone else?
Judge,
Yes, sir.
I'm from Newville. And what the question I want to ask, is this money going to help our city of Newville?
Yes, sir, the 20% of the total revenue will be split between municipalities within the county, but I think that's based on population. On the handout, it shows what the projected funds would be for the city of Newville. Do you have that, Chris? About $143,000, yes, sir.
I'm for the 3 cents. I just want to know, was any of it going to go to?
Yes, sir. There's a handout on the table. I have one up here. I'll be glad to get it to you, and it breaks it down for Henry County.
All right, thank you.
Sir. Thank you. Someone else? Again, I remind you that as soon as we finish here, we'll meet in groups. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Brian Hoback, Ozark. Quick question, Judge, I saw the breakdown for municipalities for Henry County. Mark, do we have for Ozark? Okay, all right. I was just curious about that because we just passed that 4-cent gas tax, up there in Ozark, and I was just wondering if that was going to, how that was going to impact the bond issue we did for our roads up there.
About 1.5 million of it.
Okay. Well, I'm in full support of it. I think we need it throughout all the counties. I own property in Henry County too, and yeah, I know how bad the roads are up there, so thank you.
Yeah, I don't need to sing anyway, but good evening. Certainly, Judge, thank you, the commission chairs and all the elected officials here. Thank you for being here tonight. I stand before you today as a citizen of...
Jeff, I know who you are, but tell everybody.
Of Dothan. I live in Dothan, but my business is in Dale County in Midland City. I'm with Coleman Worldwide Moving. This year I have the great pleasure of serving as chair of the Business Council of Alabama. So what I'm here is I'm a job creator. And first and foremost, I believe in efficient government, effective government, and less regulation. And I can tell you the last thing I want to talk about as a job creator is more taxes, all right? But I think this particular initiative, which I wholeheartedly support and agree because I think it was said by everybody in this room, this is about jobs, it's about safe roads and capacity. Also, you got to understand, as a trucker, we pay 40%, almost 40% of the tax for the roadways in Alabama. And we're for this initiative because as an Alabamian, we can't wait. We're over 50% behind Florida, we're 30% behind Georgia, and we're fixing to be 30% behind Tennessee. And we can no longer tolerate this. We've got to have the political courage in our legislature to stand up and do the right thing. And the right thing, the bill's been worked in a way that these dollars are going to get deployed where it needs to be. And that's fairly across this state in rural roads, rural county, municipality, and our state roadways. The truckers, it costs us today, it's estimated $50 billion annually because of road congestion. Think about your road congestion when you're driving around the roadways of Alabama. And that's up, as we saw in the presentation. But what I want to say is today we applaud, and the timing is right. And I'll tell you why it's right, because we have a new administration in Washington. The Trump administration, our Alabama legislature, and the local governments for continuing to focus on the need for investing in our infrastructure, because it's falling apart. And we heard it right here, these roadways. We can be better. We've got good standards. Investing in our state's infrastructure is about 3 things. It's about safety. You're going to hear this. Fatalities in Alabama are up 25% year over year. As a trucker, that scares me to death. Because my drivers are out trying to do the right thing and do it safely. But think about it. 25% more Alabamians were killed on our roadways last year. That's not acceptable. We've got to operate safe roadways. Number 2, it's about, we heard from Matt Parker and all of our great people in this Tri-County area, Tri-States area, that are trying to bring jobs to this area. We fight every single day to bring jobs to this community, these communities, all around. And it's a regional effort, I promise you. So it's about economic development, creating jobs, and helping, and I'm one of those, our existing companies expand right here in the Wiregrass area. It's about attracting new industry to our state. And then thirdly, it's about our quality of life. And you want to take an example of quality of life? Why don't you just drive, as Judge Money said, into South Georgia or the Panhandle of Florida. I can drive from Geneva County, through Geneva County to the beach, and I don't even need a sign to tell me that I've entered the state of Florida. The roadways are wider, the shoulders are right, they're placarded, they've got reflector tape. It's just a big difference. And we can no longer accept this in Alabama. We're better. We're better than that. Next, nearly 50% of our state highways are in fair or poor condition. And that's even our bridges. And that was by the American Society of Civil Engineers. This is a body that will judge those roads. We're getting a study done right now through the Alliance for Alabama's Infrastructure that we're going to have delivered in 2 weeks. According to the most recent rankings, Alabama is ranked the 5th for states where drivers are more likely, and this is where we can't do it, to be involved in a fatal traffic accident. And it's estimated that 1/3 of those accidents are a result of our roadways. All right? This is about lives, not about jobs, lives, and safety. From a manufacturing to our retailers, having a high-quality infrastructure is critical. We heard it already, to our job creation, our economic development. Due to inflation, increases in construction costs, and more efficient vehicles, it is estimated the 18 cents today. Last time we passed a gas tax, and I'll tell you, I hate that word, tax. We're taxed enough already. We're regulated to death. I'm ready to get them out of our business. But this is going to be good because it's going straight to roads and bridges. Is now 9 cents. We saw that in the slide earlier from the engineer. A 6-cent gas tax, if we do that in this session, or even a little bit more, to the average Alabamian, that's $5 a month. All right? $5 a month, and we all share that. I agree. That's painful to some people on fixed income. It's all right? Each dollar spent on a road and bridge in Alabama has an average benefit. Now, then we're going to talk about businesses. You said, Mr. Legislator Dexter, $5.20. That's an ROI. The business community understands and supports the need for long-term infrastructure, and our plan is for sustainable funding. By working together, and this is everybody in this room, and you look calling for somebody young. I'm young. I want better roads. I want better roads for my children and ultimately for my grandchildren. We can make a difference in Alabama with this investment, but it has to be a plan that addresses both the state, the local infrastructure, and municipalities that will properly move our state forward. Thank you.
Next. Anyone else? Yes, sir. You need the mic, Bob?
No, I don't need the mic.
Okay.
I'm loud enough. That right there just made me stand up and say, thank you so much. I've been involved in trying to get roads done in this state for so long, and the main part of it is we ain't got no money. And you go to other states and you see them building roads and things because they're putting money into their state to build roads. Like I said a while ago, we're choking our commerce in this area because of our roads are getting so clogged up. And if you think we're going to get a lot of money from the state, go to other parts of the state. Go to Huntsville, go to Birmingham, go to Montgomery, go to Mobile. They're in worse shape than we are. We're not going to get no money down here in the southeast, not no large amount. We're going to have to raise it ourselves. It's not a tax. It's a user fee. When you ride on the roads, you wear out the roads, you pay for the road. Well, how do you do that? Through a gas tax or a diesel fuel tax. And now, like Mayor Smith was just saying, we got all these battery-powered cars. We got to find out some way that they can start paying some of the money for these roads.
There is a provision in the bill that addresses that. You're exactly right.
But, hey, I'm going to be honest, I have no problem with 10 cents a gallon. But it's got to be earmarked to go to roads. We've got to build some new roads in this area. In Dothan, I live in Dothan. We've built 2 new roads. Now, I'm not talking about subdivisions. 2 new roads in the last 50 years. The 50 years before that is when all of our roadways were built. Now, a lot of them were wagon trails that we paved over. And now we're talking about researching them again. because that's our farm to market road. But they're wagon trails that we paved over. We've got to come in here and get some 4-lane. I know, and I'm gonna mention Houston County, so that's what we're familiar with. From 231 north to 231 south, on the southwest side is where the growth is in Dover. And it's getting clogged fast. We've got Grandstand Road that is now a state road, and they're gonna laugh at us if we want money spent on that, because they got the other cities. But we've got Fortner Street and Honeysuckle. We've got to do this as user fee so we can get something done with our roads.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Amanda Henderson, and I am a center director for the Hellberg Senior Center. Part of my job is to make sure that the bus that we have to go to outings and everything is in good shape. And part of that has to go back to the roads. And in order for me to provide for my seniors and take care of them, I need to make sure those roads are in good condition. I live on County Road 63. It would be so much easier for me to go down 77 and then come out on 95. I can't go down 77. And it just, when I think about that, and there's people that live on that road, and I have participants. I have participants that live in better, in roads and worse condition. I want best for them. That's where I'm in the position I'm at now. I want to thank the commissioners for doing this, because I was one on the fence on this tax. Because I can't afford it, I kept saying. My husband's a truck driver. And I can assure you, he's on worse roads when he goes to work. So I want to thank the commission. I think this is very informative. And I want to encourage the people of Henry County, we need to make a change. We've got to get these roads in shape. And I know it may cost us more in the run, but it's worth it. If it saves lives and if it saves vehicles, it's worth it. And I encourage you to encourage others to vote on this. It is just needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Renee Cosby. I'm City Council of Abbeville District 4. Even though I am a City Council person, I am also a Henry County school bus driver. I drive a school bus every day, morning and afternoon. You people, I look across this room and I say, how many of y'all ridden on dirt roads on a school bus? Amen. I still drive on a school bus with a dirt road every day. I have a child that lives, 2 children that lives in the middle of a dirt, about a 5-mile dirt road. People, you're not just paying a tax, you're investing in your children's future for a road to ride on.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? It's right at 7 o'clock. Well, we are, as soon as Mr. Culver from Houston County will come and close out the meeting, and while he's coming up, let me remind you once again, when he finishes, the public part of the meeting is over. But we invite you as a citizen to go to the map of your county, and we'll try to answer the questions that we can. Thank you.
Hey, Judge, one more thing I want to leave with you, because I think this really resonates with me, is how many of you in this room have a cell phone? Probably everybody in this room has a cell phone. Everybody. Mobile phone, right? On an average, it says in this country, you spend $45 a month to operate this thing, to get on the internet superhighway. Maybe some a little less, maybe some a little more based on usage. $45 a month, and yet you operate your car for $15. You take this away, we got a revolution. We don't invest in our roads, it completely deteriorates. $45 for this, $15 to operate our cars on the superhighway. We can do better.
Thank you, Jeff. We let you talk twice tonight. Well, I want to thank all of you for coming out. This is something that is very important to us. Anytime we start talking about this kind of money and addressing a situation that is important to
everyone that rides on county roads and city roads, we feel like it's very important to at least give the opportunity for citizens to come out. And you all here in this room chose to take that opportunity. I want to thank you and you two chairman slash judge for partnering with us. And I do want to say, we have a great situation here in the Wiregrass in that we do partner in everything, whether it be job creation or county commissioning or whatever. And we thank you for doing that, Judge, and for hosting this. To me, we all have a problem with roads, but to me this is not about solving our road problem. This is about addressing needs of people. That's what we're in the business of, and you've heard some of it here tonight. You know how much we're talking about? We're talking about asking all of you to give up a cup of coffee a month. I'm willing to give up a cup of coffee so her school bus full of children will be safer. I'm willing to give up a cup of coffee so that our responders, when they go out to save your life, can get to your house without having a wreck. I'm willing to give up a cup of coffee so that Mr. Singfield and farmers like him all over our region can get to their crops and feed us every day. It's just not that much to ask. The other aspect is, do y'all know how much money we're talking about? Have y'all really looked at the numbers? In Houston County, we're getting a little over $22 million direct if this program were to pass. City of Dothan and other municipalities are getting quite a bit. Henry County is getting a little over 11 million, or 10 million, excuse me. Geneva County is getting a little over 11. I think Dale County is getting right at 14, is that right? 14. Coffee County is getting a little more than that. In the 5-county region, we're looking at right at $75 million investment into the Wiregrass. Now, Matt Parker will tell you, when you invest that much money in the region, it will turn over 7 times, and that's the impact it will have. Well, let's be conservative, because I think I'm pretty conservative. Let's just turn it over 5 times. You're looking at a $500 million economic impact in the 5-county region. $500 million impact because you were willing to give up 1 cup of coffee a month. I don't think that's too much to ask for someone to have a job, for $500 million to be invested in businesses, your businesses, my business, all of our businesses, to make our economy better. Oh, and by the way, while we're doing that, it solves our problems, or at least addresses our problems with roads. This program will work. This program we can pass. You know, I've heard all this talk about, well, let's do 12 cents and 9 cents or whatever. You know, that's all well and good. When I drive to Florida to buy a lottery ticket, I think about all the things I'm going to do when I win, too. But you know what? I don't win. And that's what happened while we're thinking about what we're going to do with the 12-cent gas tax. It ain't going to pass. We got to have something we can pass. We can pass this. It'll help the people of the state of Alabama. It'll particularly help the Wiregrass, all of us that work together. So call your legislators. Tell them we need this. Tell them we need, and that we need this program, and that you're willing to give up a cup of coffee a month. They'll understand that. I do appreciate all of you being here. You guys got anything else you want to say before we dismiss? Yeah, y'all come down. You heard where the maps are. Henry, Houston, Dale, and my engineer will be right there, and he'll answer any questions that you may have right there in the middle. Thank you all very much. Thank you for being part of the process, and God bless you.